Good evening and welcome to Express News. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Let's begin with the stories. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a telephone conversation with Prime Minister of New Zealand, Christopher Luxon, on Monday. The two leaders jointly announced the successful conclusion of the historic, ambitious and mutually beneficial India-New Zealand Free Trade Agreement. The leaders agreed that FTA would serve as a catalyst for greater trade, investment, innovation and shared opportunities between both the countries. Addressing the media, India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal said this FTA turns ties with New Zealand from friendly to formidable, especially for trade and innovation. The minister also said under the landmark agreement, New Zealand will invest $20 billion in India over the span of 15 years. President Draupadi Murmu has granted assent to Sustainable Harnessing and Advancement of Nuclear Energy for Transforming India Bill, passed by Parliament of India during the recently concluded winter session. President Draupadi Murmu has also given assent to the Viksit Bharat Guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika Mission Grameen Bill 2025. Memorandum of Understanding signed between DRDO and Rashtriya Raksha University in presence of Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. The MOU aims to foster collaboration in research, education, training and technology support for defence and internal security. The Indian Army has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with Netaji Subhash University of Technology to collaborate in development of software and AI-based solutions for the Indian Army. Under the MOU, students and faculty of NSUT will participate in live problem-solving projects of the Indian Army and get hands-on experience. India's heavy lift rocket LVM-3 is set for launch on December 24th, carrying AST Space Mobile's powerful Bluebird 6 satellite to low Earth orbit. The mission from Satish Dhawan Space Centre, Sriharikota, will mark one of ISRO's most significant commercial flights of 2025. The 6.5-ton Bluebird 6 will be the heaviest satellites ever placed into the LEO by LVM-3. Registrations for Pariksha Pe Charcha 2026 are now open. Students from class 6 to 12, teachers and parents can join this nationwide initiative to celebrate learning and approach exams with confidence and clarity. Prime Minister Modi and other BJP stalwarts have expressed gratitude to people of Maharashtra for victory of the BJP and Mahayuti in Municipal Council and Nagar Panchayat elections. Prime Minister expressed gratitude to the people of Arunachal Pradesh for the victory and support for politics of good governance in Panchayat elections. A Mumbai-bound Air India flight AI-887 returned to Delhi airport minutes after takeoff due to technical issue. A serious glitch was reported by the pilot on the Delhi-Mumbai Air India flight. Therefore, a full emergency was declared at 6:40 a.m. IST. The Ministry of Civil Aviation has sought a detailed report from Air India in an incident related to Air India flight that developed a technical issue shortly after takeoff. The ministry has directed Directorate General of Civil Aviation to conduct a thorough investigation into the case. The government has said that there is no imminent threat to the Aravalli's ecology. Union Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav said that ongoing afforestation and strict monitoring of mining ensure that Aravallis continue to serve as a natural heritage and ecological shield for the nation. Union Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav has said that Supreme Court's 100-meter ruling is being misinterpreted. Addressing a press conference, he urged citizens to stop spreading misinformation regarding Aravalli. The minister said that mining is allowed only in 0.19% of the range, while highlighting that as per the Apex Court ruling, 90% of Aravalli area comes under protected zone and there are no relaxation in this regard. As per the MasterCard Economic Institute, India is expected to remain one of the fastest growing major economies in 2026, supported by strong policy measures. The Mastercard Economics Institute forecast India's real GDP growth at 6.6% next year. Despite this moderation, India's growth outlook remains resilient. Indian equity indices ended on a positive note on Monday at close. The Sensex was up 638 points at close 85,568. While Nifty was up 206 points to settle at 26,172. The Indian rupee fell 3 paise to close at 89.70 against the US dollar. Oil prices rose on Monday after US intercepted an oil tanker in international waters off the coast of Venezuela. Brent crude futures gained 0.86% to $61 a barrel, while US West Texas Intermediate crude rose 0.88% to $57 a barrel. Gold futures maturing on 5th of February next year were priced at 1,36,164 rupees per 10 gram on the multi-commodity exchange. Silver futures for March 5th next year maturity stood at 2,13,775 rupees per kilogram on the MCX. Asian shares rose broadly on Monday, tracking tech-driven gains on Wall Street, while the yen floundered near all-time lows against the euro and Swiss franc as higher interest rates piled pressure on Japanese government debt. In an email interview with ANI, former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, addressed the spiral of violence in Bangladesh, which included lynching of a Hindu man, has elicited deep concern from India. Former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina sharply criticized Muhammad Yunus-led interim government for straining bilateral ties with New Delhi. She asserted that current tensions are entirely Yunus's making as his administration issues hostile statements against India and fails to protect religious minorities. Sheikh Hasina highlighted India's decades-long role as Bangladesh's steadfast partner, emphasizing that deep fundamental ties will outlast any temporary government. Bangladesh police on Sunday said they have no specific information to suggest that Faisal Karim Masood, the prime suspect in the killing of Inqilab Mancha spokesperson Sharif Osman bin Hadi, has left the country and are actively trying to trace his whereabouts. Following a mass shooting at the Bondi Beach, Australia's New South Wales State Parliament was recalled to vote on proposed new laws that would impose major curbs on firearm ownership, ban on display of terror symbols and restrict protests. The proposed new laws would cap the number of firearms a person can own at 4 or up to 10 for certain groups such as farmers. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese apologized on Monday to the Jewish community and nation over the Bondi Beach mass shooting. He asserted the government will work every day to protect Jewish Australians and their rights. Australian Prime Minister Albanese on Monday said he would push for tougher laws against hate speech and extremism in the wake of the country's deadliest mass shooting in decades. A helicopter flew over Bondi Beach with a message of solidarity with Australia's Jewish community as people lay flowers nearby on a day of reflection in remembrance of 15 people killed in the gun attack. The US Coast Guard is pursuing an oil tanker in international waters near Venezuela, the second such operation this weekend and the third in less than 2 weeks if successful. The US military assets were seen operating in Puerto Rico on Sunday as Washington continued to increase its presence in the Caribbean. The activity comes amid rising tensions between US and Venezuela as Washington increases its military presence in the Caribbean, deploying thousands of troops in aircraft carrier, warships and fighter jets in the region. Talks held between US, European and Ukrainian officials over the last 3 days in Florida aimed at ending the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff called those meetings and separate talks with Russian negotiators productive and focused on a shared strategic approach between Ukraine and United States along with Europe. Russia's investigative committee has confirmed Russia's Lieutenant General Vanil Servarov, head of Russian General Staff's Army Operational Training Directorate, was killed in a car bomb in Moscow on Monday, said to be planted by Ukrainian Special Services. A regional assembly in Japan's Niigata prefecture has backed a plan to restart the Kashiwazaki Kariwa nuclear plant, marking its first move towards operation since 2011. Southeast Asian foreign ministers held a meeting in Malaysia on Monday seeking to end border clashes between Thailand and Cambodia that have killed at least 40 people and displaced more than 500,000 this month. Thai foreign minister called for demining for ceasefire to happen. Thailand and Cambodia officials are scheduled to meet on 24th December. At least 16 people were killed, several others injured after a bus lost control and struck a concrete barrier before rolling onto road in Indonesia's Java main island early on Monday. We're heading for a short break. There's more coming up in Express News.
The US launched a bombing campaign against Iran. The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you. You read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on DD.
Welcome back. You're watching Express News. Let's resume. Intense cold wave conditions and dense fog continue to disrupt normal life across several northern states, with India Met Department issuing alerts amid persistent foggy conditions. Several cities including Delhi, Ayodhya, Jaipur, Banaras and Jaisalmer witnessed low visibility as winter conditions intensify. IMD predicted partly cloudy sky with moderate fog in many places. Maximum temperature expected to be around 20 to 22 degrees Celsius, while the minimum temperatures will fall between 8 to 10 degrees Celsius. Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport has issued advisory to all passengers travelling from Delhi Airport. The airport continues to monitor conditions closely to ensure safe and smooth operations. The Met Department said dense to very dense fog conditions during night and morning hours are very likely in some parts of Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh and Haryana till December 27th. According to the latest weather update, light to moderate snow is likely to continue at many places in Kargil and Zanskar. Sonmarg in Kashmir Valley witnessed the first snowfall of the season, covering the region in thick blanket of white. At the same time, Srinagar continues to experience persistent cold wave with foggy mornings. Heavy fog is visible in the visuals near Dal Lake, with boat rides and sightseeing still operating. Cold desert conditions intensified as dense fog blanketed Jaisalmer. Prayagraj is witnessing a surge in migratory birds as thousands of Siberian species have arrived at the Triveni Sangam to escape the harsh winter of their homeland. In Prayagraj, migratory birds have added to the beauty of Sangam, attracting tourists and boosting local livelihoods. Meghalaya's capital city Shillong is aglow with festive cheer as Christmas approaches, with markets beautifully decorated and illuminated. The 10-day Shilpgram festival began in Rajasthan. Artisans from across the country are showcasing traditional crafts, music and dance, attracting visitors and tourists in large numbers in Shilpgram festival. In Vietnam, Nago boat racing is festival regarded as the king of sports in traditional festivals of southern Khmer community. The race brought together 12 Nago boat teams with more than 2,000 athletes representing Khmer pagodas across the Mekong Delta region. In a small workshop in Acolman, bright paper and glue cover the tables as artisans prepare for Mexico's festive season. Among them is 12-year-old Haden Hernandez Ortiz, carefully shaping traditional 7-pointed piñata. Hernandez is the third generation in his family to carry on the craft, a tradition started by his grandmother decades ago in Mexico. Rome will introduce paid entry for some tourists at 6 monuments and museums, including Trevi Fountain, that have so far been free, Mayor Roberto Gualtieri said. From February 1st, visitors will be charged to access the Fontana del Trevi viewing area in front of the basin, with tickets costing €2. In Italy this Christmas, Santa Claus swapped his traditional sled for more unusual forms of transport, including bicycles, motorbikes and even gondolas, as festive parades roll through the city streets. In Venice, festive celebrations took to the water with the 13th edition of Regatta dei Babbi Natale. Along the Grand Canal, 32 boats rowed by Santas raced from Church of San Zaccaria to Ca' Foscari University, with prizes awarded to each category and the best decorated boat. A festively decorated Santa Claus boat lit up the Rio Negro community with fireworks, bringing presents, joy and holiday cheer to indigenous and riverine families in remote Amazon regions. The initiative in Brazil, organized by Manaus City Hall, aims to provide Christmas celebrations to families in isolated areas, delivering gifts and festive experiences directly to their communities via river transport. Santa Claus arrived by boat to a riverside community in Carreiro de la Versa municipality in Amazonas state, spreading holiday cheer among parents and children. Dressed as Santa, Jorge Alberto Barrosa greeted families and handed out presents to children from the community. Thousands of people dressed as Santa Claus raced through the Spanish capital, Madrid, for the annual Red Cross charity run before Christmas. The organizers in Madrid estimated that more than 10,000 people, including children dressed as elves, took part in the 4.5-kilometer run through the center of the city. Santa Claus traded his sled for scuba gear, making a holiday appearance beneath the waves of Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary. And Santa brought along underwater elves and a festively dressed mermaid to mingle with some very curious marine life at Pleasure Reef off Key Largo. In Croatia, divers brought a bit of festive fun to the depths by planting a Christmas tree at its bottom. Three divers from Underwater Sports Society took the decorated Christmas tree in a Santa Claus suit, hat and beard into the depths of lake on outskirts of Croatian capital. A firefighter dressed as Santa Claus rappelled 70 meters from the bridge, delighting children in suburb north of Guatemala City with gift as part of its sales over its opening weekend, distributor Walt Disney informed. According to Disney estimates, the movie Avatar: Fire and Ash topped box office charts in the United States and Canada, where it brought some $88 million of its worldwide total. In sports, New Zealand thrashed West Indies by 323 runs in Mount Maunganui, winning the series 2-0. Conway and Latham made twin centuries, while Duffy's 5 wickets sealed the dominance victory. Tom Latham and Devon Conway became the first Test openers to score centuries in both innings, combining a record 515 runs in one match. Jemima Rodrigues' unbeaten 69 powered Indian women to an 8-wicket win over Sri Lanka in the first T20 International. The second match of the 5-match series will take place on Tuesday. Smriti Mandhana became the first Indian woman to surpass 4,000 T20 international runs, achieving the milestone in Visakhapatnam against Sri Lanka. New Zealand opening batter Susie Bates has been ruled out for 3 months due to a quadricep injury. American learner Sheehan overpowered Belgian opponent Alexander Bloks to win the next-gen ATP finals. Benoit Carpentier and Luigi Coseletto clinched the men's and women's titles respectively at the Stand-Up Paddling World Championship in Spain. Morgan Rogers Brace secured Aston Villa's 2-1 win over Manchester United at Villa Park, lifting emergency side to place and narrowing the gap on leaders Arsenal to 3. Barcelona beat 10-man Villarreal as Rafinha scored early and Lamine Yamal struck after half-time, sealing Flick's side 8th straight win in La Liga. Morocco opened their Africa Cup of Nations campaign with a 2-0 win over Comoros as Brahim Diaz and El Kabi struck second-half goals, extending record-breaking winning streak to 19 matches. Captain Mohamed Salah trained with Egypt ahead of their Africa Cup of Nations opener against Zimbabwe on Tuesday in Agadir. South Korea's An Se-young claimed a record-equaling 11th title of the year with victory at the Badminton World Tour Finals in Hangzhou. France's Christophe Popov beat world champion Shi Yuki to win the men's World Tour Finals title. Shubman Gill, Abhishek Sharma and Arshdeep Singh have been included in the Punjab 18-member squad for the Vijay Hazare Trophy. And Arunachal Pradesh kept their Santosh Trophy hopes alive and handed hosts Meghalaya a lifeline with a narrow 1-0 win over Sikkim in Group E at Polo Ground, Shillong. With that, we conclude this edition of Express News. Namaskar.